Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jordan with the Laundromat Resource Podcast. This is show 72, and I'm pumped you're here today because today we are going to dig into the weeds a little bit of pickup and delivery with Rick Rome, who's been on the podcast before, and he just shares so much good stuff. This is actually taken from another interview that we did, and I decided there was so much good stuff, not only on pickup and delivery in this episode, tons of really great tips, but also a lot about just finding success. And so I'm super, super pumped about this. Just want to let you guys know a couple things before we jump into it with Rick. Number one, we've had some work being done on the site. So I know some of you guys have had some trouble logging in over there at laundromatresource.com. But those problems should be taken care of. If you're still having issues, feel free to reach out, Jordan at laundromatresource.com. And but just want to let you know that those issues should be taken care of. You should be able to sign in, no problem. If you need to change your password, that shouldn't be a problem either. I know that was a problem for some people, but hopefully all that's good. So make sure you head over there and go check out the forums. You got to log in to jump in on the forums, but it's free as always. So head over there, laundromatresource.com/forums. That link and all the other links will be in the show notes, which if you're on YouTube, you can find them down below in the description. If you're not on YouTube though, and you're listening to the podcast, head over to laundromatresource.com/show72. You can get that link, all the links we talk about in this episode over there. All right. So make sure you're jumping in on the community. Just want to let you know about a couple things happening. This week specifically, this is October 2021. Man, I can't believe this year's almost over already. But if you're listening to this right when this comes out, we've got, and beyond, we've got free live webinars every single week going right now. And I'm doing that every single Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can sign up for that at laundromatresource.com/events. And again, that link's on the show notes or in the description. This week, talking about financial freedom with Dave, Laundromat Millionaire Men's. If you're listening to this after the fact and you missed that webinar, no worries. If you join the pro membership, you get access to that webinar and all the other webinars that we do every single week. So consider that. There's a whole bunch of other perks to that too. So go check that out, laundromatresource.com/pro. And man, there's so much good stuff happening right now. So much good stuff. And so make sure you're checking in laundromatresource.com on the regular. But more importantly than that, yes, there's tons of good information. Yes, there's good resources. Yes, there's even more coming out that's going to help you find that financial freedom through laundromat ownership faster, easier, and making less mistakes on your own, which is a big goal of mine. But even more than that, that information is awesome community. There's I think we're at like 2,500 members over at Laundromat Resource right now. Maybe even more than that. I haven't checked in a while. But there's just so many awesome people, like-minded people, have similar goals, and it's so important to surround yourself with those people. So make sure you're doing that either at laundromatresource.com/forums. Click on that new member introduction form, go introduce yourself, and then go welcome some other people who've done the same. And then check out some of the other forums we have over there. Or there's Facebook groups and stuff that you can jump on too. So make sure you are in networking, you're in a community of people who are going to help push you along towards your goal. And so important. Okay. With that said, let's jump into it with Rick. And again, even if you're not in pickup and delivery, there's so much good stuff in this episode. It's why I decided to air it, even though it wasn't originally intended for this podcast, but there's just so much good stuff, both on pickup and delivery and also just on success in general. So hope you enjoy it. I'll see you on the back end. All right, guys, today's episode is brought to you by AtmosphereTV. You may remember back in episode 34 when AtmosphereTV's Mike Kelly joined me on the podcast. It was an epic episode. If you haven't listened to it,
show 34, laundromatresource.com/show34. Go check it out. It's incredible. A ton of value there. One of the things we talked about is just the importance of creating a good, positive atmosphere in your laundromat. And I was just rereading the book by Simon Sinek, Start With Why. And one of the things that really stands out to me is that people don't make purchase decisions based on, the logic of, any decision that they're making to spend their money. It's more based on a feeling and an association. And so it's really important to create a positive feeling, a positive atmosphere, no pun intended, in your laundromat to help people associate this chore that most people don't like doing with something positive. Atmosphere TV is an incredible way to help improve the atmosphere of your laundromat. And basically, if you haven't heard of it, what it is it has 50 plus channels created specifically for businesses with everything from sports clips, hilarious fail videos, draw-dropping videos from all over the world. There's automobile channels. There's a ton of stuff. My kids love it, and my customers love it. Atmosphere TV could be a great way to either supplement your cable, or a lot of us laundromat owners are cutting our cable bill completely and running Atmosphere TV. They're designed to be used with no audio, but they also do have an audio option. That way you can kind of design the atmosphere of your laundromat the way that you want it. So get rid of cable, get rid of those news channels that are bringing negativity into your laundromat, and fill your laundromat with positive videos that bring positive vibes to your customers with Atmosphere TV. And if you use the code word, the keyword, the promo code, resource, promo code resource, then they're going to waive your setup fee. And now everything is going to be free. There's no monthly fee for it. You can use it for free in your laundromat, and it's going to vibe to your atmosphere. So check out atmosphere.tv. I'll put a link down in the description on YouTube or in the show notes. Check it out there. Make sure you use the keyword resource. That way you can get that thing for free. Or if you'd like, email Mike at mike.kelly@atmosphere.tv.
Let's get into this. Commercial accounts. How do you get commercial accounts? Seems to be a popular question. And, getting commercial accounts, it's one thing to get the phone call, right? Or the email, right? So that requires marketing. So you have to do some marketing, guys and girls, right? You can't just, put a hook in the water with no bait on it. You got to do something. So marketing is important, letting people know you exist and that you offer commercial services, right? So that's kind of paramount and first thing. But once you do get that call, what is it exactly that you're going to be doing, right? Are you cleaning towels? Are you cleaning bar mops, which are not mops to clean a floor? They're actually rags to clean countertops, right? But they're called bar mop. Are you doing chef pants or chef coats? Are you doing hair salon? Are they safety bleach towels or not? Right. So there's a number of different scenarios that would help lend credibility to the potential customer about your expertise in this. And one of them is about pricing, turnaround, frequency, volume. In New York, we have loading docks, right? So is there a loading dock, or can you go in the front door? You have to get a COI, right? Certificate of Insurance, which is an indemnity to indemnify your client in case your worker is in the building picking up the laundry and slips on a banana peel, right? So there's all these things that come into play. It's not always cut and dry. But yeah, man, I'm happy to drill down into it and go with it.
How are you even learning about all of this stuff? Is this just like trial and error? Like somebody hands you a COI and you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I thought it was a chief operating investment, but I had no idea what it meant at first. But I learned about it from when one of my first clients asked me to get him the COI, and I had no idea what it was. So I had to call my insurance broker, but you got to play it off, right? So that's an example of saying someone calls you, they want you to do the business. You talk about price, you talk about this, you talk about frequency, blah, blah, blah. Then your next question also should have been like, is this an office tower? Oh, it is. It's a corporate gym. Do you need a COI from me, right? Because the fact that you know that will put you that much further ahead than the average Joe who doesn't know about it, right? So these are some of the things that you should know, or at least in the back of your brain, know it exists, so you can sound smarter, right? We always want to work smarter, not harder, right? So, those are some of the things that you should know about. So, should I dive in about talking about pricing?
Coming out of the gate with the money tip right here, just making you sound like you know what's going on, making you sound pro right out of the gate without anything else. So yeah, let's jump into it. You're just a giver. You know that? You're a giver.
Well, a big hug to you, brother. Lots of love. So listen, but I will tell you this, okay? So let's use this as an example. Jordan Berry Hair Salon, right?
Yep.
Let's talk about that. A lot of people, like in the restaurant business, they talk about covers, right? Like covers means how many tables you can turn in a night. Or in a gym, they call it covers as well. So, if you want to sound intelligent, you could say, to the hair salon, you would say, how many chairs do you have, right? And they would say, are you talking about cutting and dye, or just cut? And you would say both, right? Because whether they're dyeing the hair or cutting, you still need towels. So it's still chairs. So the answer is both, right? So they say, okay, 7 chairs. All right. So if you're 7 chairs, you assume that if they're at capacity, they're open, let's say, and I'm making, for math purposes, very simple. They're open 12 hours a day. You can, average haircut takes a half an hour. So that would be 2 per hour. That's 24 haircuts potentially over the day they're open. The from open to close, and there's 7 chairs. So you do 7 times 12, which I believe is,
was that 168?
No, less than that. 7 times 12? No, 7 times 2 is 4. It's 84. Good try.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought we were doing 24 times 7. Yeah.
Hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. You could be right.
I think we're both right.
Hold on. 12. So if you have 7 chairs, you do 2 haircuts, that's 14, and you're open 12 hours.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't know what I was doing.
Right.
Am I right?
You're right. It's 168. You're exactly correct.
I don't know.
It's 168.
Look at us go, man.
You're the man.
Good teamwork.
That's right. Obviously, you're the brains and I'm the beauty. What can I tell?
And argue with the beauty part, at least.
So, it just gives the impression that you know what you're talking about. And you should say, well, you're using 2 or 3 towels per visit. You times that by that. That's on a daily basis. That's going to be, what's it? That's 150. That's 3. Or you're looking at probably 450 to 600 pieces, right? A hand towel weighs 1/3 of a pound. So you times that's 500 by 1/3. That's 150. Right, roughly. So you're going to collect 150 pounds roughly a day. And it's a little bit wet. You can weigh it dry if they insist, blah, blah, blah. No problem. And then you talk about frequency, right? So how often do you need that? I need you every day. So getting a customer that's going to give you 150 pounds of towels every day, 7 days a week, is an absolute gold mine. It's fantastic business. It's good for them because you're saving them time and headache. And it's good for you because now you have a consistent customer who's giving you business and paying you well. So that's the first thing you should talk about knowledge. In this case, it was a hair salon. If it was a gym, you should say covers, right? If it's a restaurant, you should talk about covers also, right? It just gives the impression to the manager, the GM, or whomever you're speaking with that you know what you're talking about. Make sense there?
Absolutely, man. And even if you don't, it's like faking it till you make it kind of too. Like do your research up front, learn the terminology. You can learn anything online, right? So learn the terminology, before you walk into a situation. Obviously, you're not going to know everything going into it, and you might make a fool out of yourself once or twice, but hey, learn from that. And eventually you're going to sound like you know what you're talking about because you will know what you're talking about.
110%. So now you've piqued their interest. Now they're going to talk about price. So how would you price this? Well, I would tell you that they absolutely should earn a discount, right? Because they're giving you volume and they're giving you frequency, right? But what a lot of people don't understand in the commercial business is they always find a way to get into the business, but they don't know how to get out of the business. So I always like to work backwards to front, right? So what is the minimum cost to your business and an acceptable profit margin to do that business, right? So if the answer is, I want to make 20% on that business, and I know that it's going to cost me, and I'm using a very simple number, $50 in labor and gas and insurance and whatever else it is that goes with it, that means your minimum for that order should be $60, right? It's that simple. So with that onset, you could say, all right, well, it's going to cost me 60. So, and we're going every day. So, on that account, 7 times 60 is 420. You're going to get $420 a week minimum from this account, right? And that's good money, right?
Yeah.
It's good money. So now you talk about, okay, well, how do I price it? And again, I'm going to use very simple numbers. If you're charging a lot of times guys get confused, like, well, I charge $1.50 for pickup and delivery. I don't care if it's commercial or not. Well, that's stupid. Okay. That's just plain dumb, because someone who's going to give you 40 pounds of laundry every week or every 2 weeks or once a month, sure, charge them $1.50. I get it. But someone who's going to give you 50 pounds of laundry every day or 40 pounds of laundry every day deserves a discount, guy, because you have to, and they're towels, right? So you're not folding little socks, you're not folding t-shirts, it's towels. So it's much easier type of work to do. So, again, you got to feel it out. Is it, how many chairs, how many covers? You can ask the question, who services you now, right? This company, okay, how much your average pounds are per week? I have no idea. I said, okay, well, how many bags do you give them every day? Is it like one hefty, one full garbage bag, or one full laundry bag a day, or 2 or 3 or 4? Oh, it's 3 hefty garbage bags a day on average. Okay, well, those bags probably hold about 25 pounds. So you could safely assume 75 pounds, right? And if they're wrong and they only are given 1 bag, right? Well, then you can always, when you make your offer, you could say, all right, well, you're going to earn a frequency discount and you're going to earn a volume discount. And I'm going to offer you, normally it's $1 a pound, but I'm going to offer it to you at 85 cents a pound, right? As an example, right? So they feel good about it. All right. And at the end of the day, you can give it a caveat saying, listen, this is based on the assumption that you're giving me 75 pounds of laundry a day, because 3 bags are roughly 25 pounds each. If it happens to come lower, that's okay. But please know I'm charging you the minimum, which is $60 per visit. Is that on top of what you're going to charge me for the weight? No, it's whichever is greater, right? So that you're going to get at least $60 every time you send the vehicle there. We're good. You got that part?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that's genius. And I like the throwing the minimum on there, because that kind of covers you. And if you're, on the one hand, yeah, definitely give them the discount because they're giving you volume, they're giving you frequency, consistency, all of that stuff. That's super valuable to any business owner, because as long as you do your numbers right, that's guaranteed cash flow coming in. However, it's also a lot of work to do laundry every day for somebody, and to do volume and to do consistency. And so you want to make sure that you're making enough to make it worth it to you and to your employees to be able to, service them the way that they need to be serviced. So having that minimum, allows you to make what you need to make in order to be able to provide that service. So I love that
level of service. And listen, I've been saying for 15 years, I say to everyone, it's not about the minimum pounds. It's about the minimum dollars. Okay. That's what it's about. So knowing what your minimum dollars you can accept is for this type of order or orders, then you can start to build your business around that. Obviously, you'd much rather get a 300 pounds at $1 a pound than get 30 pounds with a $60 minimum. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're a business just like your business. And not every day they're going to have 1,000 people walk through their door. Right? This weekend's Labor Day. No one's going there Sunday because they're at the barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're going to get just the people in the morning, but no one in the afternoon, and definitely no one in the evening, as an example. And that day, when you go to pick up on Monday, if you're open, you're only going to pick up, 40 pounds as opposed to the 400 pounds you normally get. It happens. Mm-hmm. So again, it's, slow and steady wins the race. Price it properly. This is what we do. This is how I do it. This is how my staff does it. This is how I mentor or teach my, licensees how to do, so they can understand and grasp the concept, because many times they'll be just grasping for straws, and it doesn't really help you that much, just grasping for a straw when you need business on a consistent, regular basis.
Yeah. Okay. So you're having this conversation with them. Do you then put it in, right? Are you putting it in a contract of some sort?
Very good question.
Yeah.
Very good question. Some are contracts, some are not contracts, right? Okay. So, again, I have a lot of my licensees ask me for a template, which I have, and of course I share with them, mm-hmm. right? If the customer is requesting that, right? So it's important to have that stuff. And again, another important feature is understanding what are your costs to doing the business, right? So, third-party vendors, like for instance in software, who aren't in the business, they don't know this answer. And I don't blame them for not knowing this. They're not in the business. Frankly, it's not their job per se to know it. It would make them better if they did, but because it varies so greatly by wherever you're located. I mean, the price I charge in Queens versus the price I charge in Manhattan or Brooklyn, they're all different. And then you throw into the fact that you have different types of businesses that need different types of washing and needs different types of service and different type of cleaning, deep cleaning, not as deep cleaning, soaking, not soaking. I mean, it in different levels of service, right? Someone who's got a million towels, they don't need you to come every day, and they're not so concerned about how many towels are there. They just want to make sure that when the day comes when they need their wash and done, they need it done.
Right.
And they'll just throw money to buy more towels if they need more towels because people are taking them or whatever, which is another thing we could discuss. How do you answer the question is, you guys are losing my stuff, mm-hmm. right? From a commercial perspective. We can talk about it from a retail perspective as well. You know what? That's going to be our next one. Yeah. Security for the operator. What is proper security to have for an operator to ensure that you have, dot your I's and cross your T's to show your customer or clients, commercial or retail, mm-hmm. like here's the facts, Jack. Right. So that's the next one we can talk about.
Love it.
Our next show. Write that one down, buddy. But from that perspective, it's important to know the dynamics and the variables that are all there.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. And I think, it's so important to kind of think through all that stuff if you're trying to get into the pickup and delivery or if you have pickup delivery service and you're trying to get to that next level. I know a lot of operators who kind of end up floundering in pickup and delivery because they can't do that. They can't make those price adjustments. They can't figure out how to speak to commercial customers or residential sometimes. They can't figure out how to drum up new business, all that stuff. And it turns out that if you can't hit a certain threshold, it's really hard to maintain a pickup and delivery business because you just can't get enough margin.
They're not in tune with their costs, man. Yeah. And they're discounting what they're doing either too far or not at all. Right. So they're afraid of missing the boat. So they discount it, which makes them losing money, perhaps, not always, right? And they're not flexible on pricing, so they don't get the business.
Yeah.
So you lose both times in those occasions. So the question is, how do you get the business that makes it profitable for you and you land the actual business? And that's what we do all day, all night over Washington.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something, I mean, it's something you've been pretty good at, supposedly. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know.
I got lucky once or twice.
That's right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, okay. So, I mean, can you just talk briefly about what are the differences between drumming up commercial business versus drumming up residential? So like if I'm trying to expand my commercial portfolio, should I be thinking about this differently, or am I doing similar things? Is there a difference between like, they're both B2B, but they're, well, no, I mean, one's, I guess,
B2C. One's B2B, one's B2C.
Yeah. One's right? B2C. So what are the differences or nuances that we need to know?
Sure. So from a marketing perspective, commercial AdWords searches are not cheap. They're expensive.
Right.
Okay. Because think of it. That's very simple. There's 325 million Americans. They're everywhere, right? Versus, I don't know how many businesses there are out there in America, but let's just say there's 50 million businesses, right? Yeah. And not all 50 million businesses need towel service, right? Or some type of business that you offer, product that you offer. So they're farther and fewer between. Mm-hmm. Hence why you need to have flexibility on frequency or on pricing, as well as marketing tactics, right? So search is okay, but expensive. Okay. So generally what I've done is gone to businesses and created a flyer or a leave behind, right? And say, here's a nice glossy picture. Cold calls are great. Okay. Cold calling works. Just be prepared to get a lot of FUs, but whatever, it is what it is. It's an effort.
Well, you're in New York, so you get it more than normal.
Listen, I get that when I walk out to the corner.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hello where you're at.
Yeah, that's how we say hello to each other. That's our fist pump.
That's right.
Hey, sorry. Hey, asshole. How you doing? Right? So, that part is, that's another one. And word of mouth, right? And asking for the business, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you're a manager of an Equinox and you go for an opportunity to a boutique gym that you want to be bigger and power, they remember you, right? So I'll tell you, I don't know if I ever told you. Yeah, maybe I said it, but I'll say it again. Back in the day, I had a dance studio that rented space for me. And this is during the first meltdown, which was 2000 and maybe it was the second one. I don't know, 2012 or something. And they went out of business and I had this space, 2,000 square feet. I'm like, all right, I'm going to turn it into a commercial washing only for my new commercial business that I'm going to go out and get. Mm-hmm. I made flyers for 6 months. I'm knocking on doors. I'm getting a good 10 to 15 FUs a day. I'm walking all over Manhattan. Okay. I probably lost 15 pounds. I did it when the weather was nice, so I could have, look at the beautiful things that are all over New York City. And, spent about $150K putting in this, buying the used equipment and installing the washers and these pads, pillars to hold up the floor because there's a basement underneath. You don't want to vibrate, shake, all that jazz, right? And for 6 months, butkus, zero, zilch. And I would say anyone who would listen to me, I am the biggest idiot there is. That was the worst investment I have ever made. I am such a donkey. I'm a total donkey. Okay. And one day, my phone rings and says, hey, I got your flyer. Can you come and help us? I said, yeah, absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
We have room.
So I went over there. I did it right away. Then Columbia University came on board, and within 2 months, it was nonstop, right? And long story short, 6 months after I said I was the biggest donkey in the world, I said that was the best investment I ever made in my life.
Yeah, you're a genius.
And yeah, I'm an absolute genius. So I got a TO. I got someone at my front door for some reason.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I'm going to chat while you're doing that because I think go do your thing.
Okay.
But I think the important lesson in that is that perseverance is the distinguishing factor between, being an idiot, making a terrible investment, and being a genius and making a great investment. Being able to persevere even in the midst of a huge drought, a huge not 6 months of no customers. And all of a sudden, one day it changes just that quickly. And I think so many people just give up before you get to that point. You just give up too early. And I shouldn't say you, I said we give up too early on things that really matter to us, really are important to us. And if we had just stuck it out a little bit longer and continue to put in the consistent effort, it's consistency and it's perseverance in the midst of all of that. And that often is the key to success. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
I was just saying how so many times we give up, just before, too early. And it's that consistency, doing the same thing over and over, and we get bored of it. But that's really consistency and perseverance are like 95% of success. Like that's the key.
I'm going to give you a quote from, in my opinion, the best basketball player ever to grace us, Mr. Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Who was just an absolute, and we all know the guy is just incredible, right? I mean, he's incredible, in my opinion, in terms of his business and his work ethic. And his argument was always this: it's easy to become a champion. It's harder to stay a champion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because once you get a little taste of the good wine or the good life, you kind of go down, right? Not because you want to go down, but because you're enjoying the fruits that you've planted and grown, right? And I get it. But if you want to be at the top of your game, and not just for a year or two, it's for a long time, you got to remember that every day, every year, it's a fight, right? And I'm guilty, guys. I'm guilty as anyone else that sometimes I take my eye off the ball. I'm only human. But you're right. You've got to keep, keep going and going and going, and not to give up and believe in yourself. Because if you can't believe in yourself, that's a different problem, right? Because you're the best thing going for yourself, and you have to remember that about yourself. And it's okay to be like that. So I think that as you continue to chug along the road, I've also equated it to getting commercial accounts is like getting a date with a girl, right? You'll go to the bar, you'll go somewhere, you'll talk to 99 of the girls that night, and they'll all tell you to kiss their rear end and get out of here, you creep, right? But it only takes that one to give you confidence to go on. And I'm sorry, ladies, I know, it's not a fair assumption for you to say you go to a bar and you hit on 99 guys and it only takes one. I get it. And but I'm just trying to give a very simple analogy that says, look, it's you continue to chug along, you continue to chop wood, and one leads to two, and two leads to four, and four can lead back to three, and then three can lead to five, right? It's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back. If you did that every day, you'll be way ahead of everybody else.
Yeah. And it's similar to the concept of like, hey, get 1% better every day, like just a tiny bit better every day. And then all of a sudden you're going to look back and be like, holy crap. Like I am like miles beyond where I started, but I don't feel any different because I've just been doing tiny little bits every day, trying to get better every day. Right. And
I mean, look at our podcast, right? We started with one interview. I didn't know who you were. And we just we hit it all. Created, I don't know how many we've done now, like 20 or God only 30. I have no idea, but it's so fluid, right? Yeah. It's easy for us to do this because we have passion for what we do. We want to help others grow and do what they need to do. And, it's a home run because I feel great about myself. You feel great about yourself. You get business. I get business. we're experts in what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's win, and it's just a win. So from that, I'm happy. And you're right. I love that. I never heard that 1% a day, but I'm going to start using that one. That's
yeah. I mean, I love that too. And it's, it's something I'm not always, doing, but it's something I'm always trying to do, real quick. I mean, you didn't even mention that I get to look at that beautiful face of yours while we're doing it too. So, I mean, there's just perks all around. Hey, I don't want to like take too big of a pivot, but I really like this topic that we just hit on right now, with this perseverance and finding success and, but can I ask you, like, how do you know, and maybe you don't know the answer to this, but I'm just curious if we can have a conversation about it. Like, how do you know if you should keep going with something? I mean, because I just said, like, perseverance and consistency, that's like 95% of success, right? But how do you know if you should keep going or if you're really just spinning your wheels and you really need to pivot and do something differently? You got any thoughts on that?
It is a great question. And I can't say one size fits all because each circumstance has its own variables and other alternate variables that go on top of that, right? So what I would tell you is it's about conviction. If you enjoy what you're doing, okay, you thoroughly enjoy what you're doing, it will come to you,
mm-hmm.
right? So I love what I do. And I always wonder, how am I going to increase sales? I practically do the same thing every year in terms of sales opportunities and trying to grow those opportunities from we'll call them cold leads,
mm-hmm.
right? What I also do, and which I don't think a lot of people realize, is your best customer is your current, your newest, the way to grow your business is your current customer, right? So
mm-hmm.
email marketing, reach out to the manager of the hair salon and say, hey, I just wanted to say hello, see how things are, or go in and say, hey, just want to say hello, see how things are. And hopefully they'll say things are great and and you ask,
mm-hmm.
you got to ask, right? If you don't knock on the front of the door, you're still going to be on the outside of the door. And if you knock and they say, buzz off, okay, you're still on the outside of the door.
Mm-hmm.
But if they say hello and come on in, let's talk, it's that much. So it takes time to mature and grow and groom business. I mean, look, I get loads and loads of emails and calls about my software and, demos and things along that nature. And you just have a feel, right? So what I would tell people in terms of when is enough, listen, you got to put a quality effort into something.
Mm-hmm.
I would say at least 6 months, but you should make a goal. Like, okay, I'm going to visit, and again, I'm in New York, so it's a little bit bigger. I'm going to visit 10 businesses that could use my service every 2 weeks. And I'm going to say, I'm going to do it on every Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it is. And if it's raining that day, I'm still going, right? Because that's a great little wedge to get into there. Like, wow, this guy's a dedicated salesman
mm-hmm.
or saleswoman. It's friggin' snowing out. It's cold. It's raining. And this guy's out here trying to make sales.
Yeah.
I want to talk to that guy.
Yeah.
Or that girl. I think that's perseverance, right? Because they get it. Like, I get up early and send emails at 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes. And people are like, Jesus, you're up early,
mm-hmm.
right? And I love when they say that. Or I love when they say, thank you for the quick response, right? That tells me that you made a formidable impression on them,
mm-hmm.
right? That's a positive. So feed off that positive. Grow into it. That's what I would say. Like I said, I don't think there's one answer for everyone or every situation. Internally, you should reflect upon yourself and you should set a goal. This is what I'm going to do. And know that if you do that for 6 months, you're going to get, for me, it's kind of hard for me to imagine you're not going to get a couple sales out of it. And then, it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds.
Right. Yeah. I have a couple things that just came to mind as you were talking there. It reminds me of a couple different things. Number one, there's a book called Start With Why. And I think the why behind what you're doing is really important, especially when you're in those long deserts, those long dry spells, the things that keep you motivated. Like, if you're trying to feed your kids, if you have like an ambition to really grow your business, some big reason that you're doing what you're doing, it's easier to persevere. And I think that's tied into like really enjoying what you're doing. But it's easier to persevere and to maintain that consistency, to get up at the 4 a.m., to send the emails, to get out there in the snow, to, try to go drum up that. I don't know what snow is really, but, get out there when it's, under 60 degrees and you have to put on a hoodie and bundle up real tight. But having that, having that big reason behind what you're doing can help you persevere. And if you don't have that reason, then maybe it's time to pause for a second and reflect on, why am I doing this? And is this important? Is this the direction I want to go in with my life? And, time is our only limited, asset that we have. And so do you want to spend that precious asset doing this if you don't have a reason why you're doing it? Right. And then it also reminds me of, Napoleon Hill, who's got all these like Think and Grow Rich and all this stuff. But one of the things that he says is the key to success is what he calls definiteness of purpose. And it's just like, okay, I'm just going to do, this is what I'm doing. And it doesn't matter, snowing, doesn't matter. 4 a.m. doesn't matter. I'm doing this. And it reminds me, this is it. So for me, a little background real quick. My favorite food is like probably hamburgers and, steak and all that stuff. But, I got to a point in my life where I was like, you know what? I need to start eating better. Like my favorite restaurant is Wiener Schnitzel and the chili cheese dogs and burgers and stuff. Right. But I got to a point where I was like, I need to take better care of myself. And it became such a big deal that I decided to change my diet pretty dramatically. So now I'm vegan plus fish and no sugar. And people are always like, I could never do that. And I always said the same thing, like I could never do that. But because my why was really big, and because I, just decided that's who I am now, I stick to that diet. And now I don't even look back. I don't even miss. So I think that's a huge key to
strong in the brain. You are, Jordan, strong in the brain. 95% of everything you do is mental.
I agree. Yeah.
You've got to be tough there. And if you're tough there, everything else will be much, much easier.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Dude, this was a great show today.
Awesome conversation. Dude, I could go on forever talking with you about this. That was a lot of fun. So
all right, listen, I know that now that you're like the biggest guy, the celebrities of celebrities in the laundry world. I just hope that we can not take a longer hiatus and right back into more shows and more questions and more emails and more everything. I want to get more people involved in the industry, and I'm just going to tease it. You know where I'm calling? Laundry time.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, I'm teasing you. Let's go. That's
what I'm talking about, man. Well, hey, this has been awesome as always. Thanks for taking the time out to chat and enjoy that East Coast weather today. All right, I hope you got a lot of good stuff out of that one with Rick Rome. He is an all-star. The guy knows his stuff. I love his tenacious creativity in how he promotes his business, how he markets his pickup and delivery service, and the way that he thinks about, finding success. So hopefully you learned something out of that. Again, as with every episode, don't forget to pick something and put it into practice this week. Whether it's pickup and delivery oriented or success oriented, or it's just heading over to the forums and checking in over there. Do something, take some action. Action's what's going to lead you to your goals. All right. We'll see you next week on the podcast. And hopefully between then, we'll see you on the podcast or in the webinars or, whatever. We have a lot of stuff going on. So come check out what we got going on. All right, guys. We'll see you then. Peace.